So yeah.
Call it that. They do seem to make a lot of these things. So yeah, we'll go with all the default options. We're gonna install now. Stratting Christmas 2015. I'm assuming that's supposed to say starting. And yeah, Windows 7 Ultimate Service Pack 1 is what this is based on. So, okay, we can't read this down here really at all. I mean, I can make this out Christmas 2015 installing. This is the information part. But yeah, not really great for, if you want to actually read any of this stuff. I mean, so, like, look at this. I mean, yeah, you can read, like, sort of. But it's like, why is there not just a white, solid background like there typically is? We're going to just go and just delete the existing partitions on here because this just has a Windows 10 install with nothing really on it other than that. So we're going to do that and we'll install on the unallocated space. And there we go. You see they have everything that said Windows changed to Christmas 2015. That's like what they're got the product name changed to. But they also have applying Christmas 2015 watermark. Oh gosh. Okay, let's see how like obnoxious that is. Unlocking Christmas 2015 features. I assume it's going to have to run through some post-install like activator script. It's probably going to put a whole bunch of software on here, all cracked because of course. And then it applies the core, whatever that is. So, okay, yeah, we're going to let it do its thing, and let's see if it gets itself installed. Alright, it just restarted the system, and it looks like the boot screen still remains unchanged. So, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, well, I guess it is from the perspective of like a bootleg where we want to see everything just completely changed because it's hilarious. But let's just see what else we got in store for us here. So it's repairing our computer for first use. We've got a little graphic down there. Yeah, doing all the standard stuff. And once again, we have a different wallpaper. And we have another wallpaper from Wallpaper FX. You got like a watermark there in the corner. And we have that same graphic here just replacing the Windows 7 banner. So I'll go ahead and put in my name. We'll just call this Bootleg PC because, that sounds like a good name. And we're not going to bother doing a password. We've got some different colors going on for the buttons here. We have like a glow effect when you hover over, so that's nice. We're going to skip the product key. I'm sure it's going to just crack it. And we're going to say ask me later for that. Pacific time, that's fine. Windows is finalizing your settings. We got a different progress bar there. Cursor still looks the same though. So that, yeah, and we got the little like arrow wheel there, I noticed. And look, okay, look at this. Like, you've got text on text, like from the background. Why? They couldn't have gotten a different background where you can actually see like the login text? So, okay, we got a few things going on here. Looks like we have maybe Rocket Dock or Object Dock up here, which is definitely a throwback for me. We've got Metro Sidebar. I've actually not seen this program before. This is a short guide to help you discover the basic Metro Sidebar features. So yeah, this I guess is kind of like a little Metro style interface here. I don't know how much of this stuff works anymore, but we got the date and time up here. Got our computer name, and it's moving back and forth and changing places with this icon. We have a weather widget, we have a Bing search thing, and then we have a second page with an alarm. We got pictures. We'll definitely explore this a little bit more later, but let's see if I'm
Sorry,
right. Is this
my
Object Dock
video's
or
name
this is definitely
resolution
Rocket
actually
Dock?
keeps
Heck yeah, dude.
playing
Okay.
the video,
Man,
but the
this is
sound
such a
is going.
throwback for me because this was like the first, make Windows look like
So
Mac
yeah.
OS program that I ever got. That
then C, it'll prompt me for all of the children of Steve that have a C in their name. Here, to jump into Steve's scene, I want to undo button to make it go back to 000, the middle of my world, and same thing, keyboard. But I think we still have a problem. Right now, all of the nodes in my scene are children or grandchildren or great grandchildren of Steve. And when objects are children of other objects, in other words, all of these nodes are children in some way of Steve, they're all going to follow along precisely with Steve, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to take my camera controller and I'm going to tell it, even though it's a child of Steve, to not follow along with Steve. How do I do that? If I select it and go over to the inspector, I can turn on this check mark that's called top level. If I hover my mouse over top level, it'll give me a description. It says, if true, the node will not inherit the little script. I want to see these nodes while I'm coding, and I'm going to go up to the little script icon and click on it. Jump into my scripting workspace where I will just zoom in a little bit so we can see what's going on a bit easier on our screen. I'm going to make the dots on the side of my screen a little bit narrower so we can see all of our code as best as we can all at once. I'll go and close this little sidebar as well. So right now we have pretty much the default code on Steve to make him move and delta. Click at the end of this top line, the header of this function, and press enter a couple of times.
Crap, I keep forgetting the... no, screw it. Let's see now.
I'm going to make a little comment header for our new section of code. I'm going to put a hashtag to make a comment, and I'm going to say make camera controller match the position of myself. That might not be totally correct grammar, but I hope you understand what I'm going for here. What I'm going to do now is tell the position of my camera controller to match the position of, well, me. Now, one thing you need to know in GDScript is that when you're coding on the script of a node, in that script, you can pretty much access, well, not pretty much, you can access every single property and more that you can see, including the rotation, including how Steve considers what is a floor and if he should stop on a slope. His up direction I can change. If he can controller to .z property which exactly line up with the transform position x, y, and z.
Here I go now. It's finally...
That's us accessing these values in code. Basically, I want to say make the position of the controller. I'm going to write a little bit of pseudo code here. The word pseudo means sort of code. I'm going to say take the controller dot position and make it equal to my position. And that means the position in all three values, or of all three values, x, y, and z at the same time. How do we do this part? How do we say the other node's position? Well, it turns out in GD script, what you can do is type a dollar sign. The dollar sign in GD script is an operator.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot here. I already have a call here like earlier on. So yeah, I'm kind of dumb here.
That lets you name another node that's part of the same scene, specifically, most easily, a child of the.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Node that you're currently coding on. So if I want to access the camera controller, I start typing D that have a C in their name. In fact, I can even access the camera controller's camera target and even the camera with these lines of code. So it's helping me out here. I'm going to use the down arrow key on my keyboard and up arrow key to select just camera controller and press enter. And I want to take the camera controller and access its position. So I'm going to say dot position is going to equal my position. This just refers to the position property of the node that we're currently coding on. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I go ahead and press Control S to save and I go back to level 1 and I press play scene, hopefully something good will happen. If I now move around my game level, hey, we have a camera and it's following us. However, there's two little problems. Number one, do you notice that when I press one of the directions that it stutters a little bit? There's just a little bit of a like
Sorry, I had a bad vision here.
my position. This just refers to the position.
Oops. I got an error here. For absolutely. Devon Seed, please. Stop bothering me, little Link. I'll think about it. this. Wow. Oops. Uh-oh. Second attack here. Oops.
property of the node that we're currently coding on. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I go ahead and press Control S to save, and I go back to level 1 and I press play scene, it stutters a little bit. There's a little bit of a one wait, I stop. The camera lagged behind just one frame of the game. That is because of the order of our code. If I go back to my code, we are making
We cannot speed it up.
the cameras or the camera controller's position the same as our
There we
position,
go.
but then we're doing a bunch of other stuff in our code to make our actual character move, and then we're actually moving the character using this method called move and slide. This method is actually what moves your character body in your scene, your root node of your character, with the velocity variable that you're manipulating with the arrow keys on your keyboard. However, this happened with sync. I'll select, I need to make sure I'm indented just once in with one tab from the left side.
Let's see now.
Side of the text editor, and I'm going to press Control V on my keyboard to paste. These two lines need to be lined up with move and slide, one tab in. And I think that should work pretty well. If I press Control S to save, and I go back to level 1 and press play scene, well, hey, now and press play scene.
See now? Here. Here. I finally done it. I climbed this. Oops. Display several windows. Your video card drivers are known to have low quality OpenGL 3.3 support. Switch to angle. Well then.
Well, hey, now there's but hold on a second. I thought we wanted to be some smooth camera movement. This is essentially, well, not essentially, it's exactly the same as just having the camera movement as Steve is moving. Little method that's built into Godot. That method is called LERP, L-E-R-P, and it stands for linear interpolation. This method has a funny name, but it's super handy, equal LERP. And lerp is going to be a method call with parentheses right after it. The lerp method takes 3 arguments or parameters. So I'm going to put 2 commas in those parentheses. The first argument or parameter that we want to plug into this lerp method, and by the way, this lerp method is going to return to our position a new updated position, but it needs to know 3 things: where we're starting from, where we're going to, and how quickly we want to get there. So let's go ahead and fill these blanks in. The first argument here is going to be where we currently are. Well, I want to take the camera controller's position and move it from where it currently is a little bit smoothly exactly to where my character is. So it's going to start off exactly where it already is. So I'm going to say as a first argument,
Now,
$camera
let's
controller dot position. Just like that. That's the first argument. Where do we want this camera controller to get to? Well, we want it to get to the position of Steve, which we're on Steve's code right now. So all we have to do is here type position like that. And I'll put a space after each comma to make it a little bit easier to read. So we're trying to get this camera controller to be assigned to somewhere between, interpolated between where it currently is and Steve's position, with how quickly we want to move step by step, 60 times per second between those 2 positions. We're going to plug in a percentage here in decimal format. I'm going to try something very slow here. I'm going to type 1% in decimal format, so I'll type 0.01. Let's go ahead and see if that works.
fingers crossed. Oops. Let's see again for a second time. Shit! Sorry, pardon the swearing. We're suffering from technical
The
difficulties
red
here.
line went away, so I don't have any more errors. I'll press Control S on my keyboard, and then with my level 1 scene tab selected, I will press play scene. And now, if
I can fix this. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Uh-huh. Let's see now. Sorry, my stepdad was just talking to me a little bit. Huh. It kind of works, but it's kind of slower unlike the tutorial I was watching. Oops. Second attempt. Hmm. Oops. Uh-oh.
scene tab is selected, I will press play scene. And now, if I move up, very slowly, smoothly, 1% per frame.
I changed the camera position here. Oops. Uh-oh. Sorry.
As 0.0. Hey, that's percentage. It'll, after some experimentation, is 15%. So I'll type 0.15. If I press Control S to save and play scene, well,
Let's see if I can set the camera rotation here. And I can rename this as Godot here. So I can do this. Uh-oh. Oops. Let's see now. Now, let's see now. Oops. I hate this kind of errors. Let's see if I can copy and paste this. Now, let's see now. I hate this. I hate this. It's the same thing as nothing. Here. And let's see if I can put the camera rotation there. Now let's see. Fingers crossed. I hate this. this completely crashes it. Sorry, I was just completely mad at that stuff here. Now let's see if I can fix this. Here, I finally made it. Now let's see now.
The camera is just the more we have covered how to create a camera controller and a camera target and make the camera smoothly follow you. We've used a new couple of pieces of code, including a new operator, the $sign operator, to select children nodes, as well as the children nodes, which, by the way, you can, of course, hold control on your keyboard and click on to jump into the GD script documentation, which this method is actually in a special part of GD script. This lesson up on the go ahead and I'll put the code, which is here, up on the screen as best as I can. And what I'll do is I will
Now let's see if I can put this $sign. Oops. And now let's see here. Shh. Sorry, my brother's just yelling here. Ha! Finally! Um, Sorry, we're suffering from technical difficulty here. fixes it. Damn. I hate this. So yeah, the Wi-Fi is kinda terrible here. It's getting offline every time I do this.